If you are hearing these words right now, this moment is not random, not accidental, not something you clicked into by chance. It is a divine interruption where heaven has stepped into your timeline to meet you exactly where you are. You have been tired for longer than you admit, worn down by trying again and again without seeing movement, waking up with the same worries, the same pressure, the same questions about how much longer this season will last. You have carried financial stress, emotional weight, and quiet doubt about your own value, wondering if life is standing still while everyone else moves forward. And God says, He sees the loop you've been trapped in and the strength it has taken just to keep going. This exhaustion did not come from weakness. It came from endurance, from holding responsibilities that were never meant to rest on you alone, from believing even when the evidence stayed silent. Heaven is not overlooking you in this place. It is drawing near to you, naming your pain, and lifting the lie that nothing is changing. You are not forgotten, you are not late, and you are not failing. You are standing at the edge of a shift that has already begun. The word declares, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Psalm 34-18. And this closeness is not distant or symbolic. It is present now. The heavy season is coming to an end. The pressure that drained you is losing its hold, and what has felt delayed is being repositioned with purpose and timing. A divine transition is unfolding, quietly but decisively, and what God has been preparing is nearer than it appears. Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for He who promised is faithful, Hebrews 10:23, and that faithfulness is moving on your behalf even as you listen. Stay with this moment, because what comes next will confirm what your spirit has already begun to sense and activate what heaven has been aligning behind the scenes. Right now, wherever you are, engage with this moment as an act of faith by liking this video, subscribing to remain open to the messages ahead, and commenting 777, not as a routine response, but as a prophetic declaration that you are stepping into the new season God is opening over your life. Chosen one, you have been carrying more than anyone realizes, pushing forward while your strength thinned, trying to stay kind and steady while something in your spirit felt unsettled, and God is naming that weight so you no longer have to carry it alone. You have been exhausted from trying to keep peace, from hoping things would resolve on their own, from sensing something was off but choosing patience over confrontation, and that quiet effort has cost you more than you admit. Heaven sees the financial pressure you already manage, the uncertainty about the future that keeps you awake, and the way doubt has crept in, asking if you are overreacting or imagining things. You are not. What you have felt was discernment rising before evidence appeared, and God is honoring that sensitivity, not condemning it. Breathe with me. This is not about blame or exposure for its own sake. It is about protection, clarity, and peace returning to your inner world. Now listen carefully. Your season of struggle is over. The chains of scarcity are breaking. The tide is turning. What has been draining you in silence is losing its grip, and heaven is interrupting the cycle that kept you tired and unsure. This shift is not asking you to fight harder or figure everything out. It is God stepping in to guard what matters to you. Here is the truth anchoring this moment. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. and God Himself is now guarding your heart with wisdom and calm. The responsibility is no longer on you to manage outcomes, interpret motives, or carry the emotional weight of what others choose. God is taking that responsibility into His hands with peace and precision. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. James 1-5. And that wisdom is already being released gently, not forcefully. Think of Abigail, who sensed danger before it reached her household, who moved with discernment and humility, and whose wisdom spared lives and brought peace where conflict was forming. And her story reminds you that discernment guided by God brings protection, not destruction. Hope is rising now, not because everything is clear yet, but because you are no longer walking blindly. Anticipation is forming because truth brings stability, and stability brings peace. What comes next will not overwhelm you. It will steady you, and the next part will unlock and confirm what your spirit is already recognizing, giving you clarity at the right moment so you can move forward without fear or regret. Chosen one, you have been carrying a weight that tightened your chest and unsettled your sleep, a quiet pressure that grew as you kept moving without answers, trying to stay steady while your strength wore thin. You have been exhausted from holding things together, from managing worries about money and tomorrow, from sensing that something was off while telling yourself to stay calm and patient. God sees how long you have carried concerns that were not yours to solve, how doubt crept in, asking whether you were imagining things or overreacting, and how that doubt slowly turned inward and questioned your worth. You are not weak for feeling this way, and you are not wrong for noticing what others overlook. Stay with me for a moment. What you are feeling is not fear. It is awareness rising after a long season of silence, and heaven is naming it so you no longer have to carry confusion alone. What has kept you circling is releasing, and forward movement has already begun. What drained you quietly is losing its hold, and what felt stuck is beginning to move with clarity and peace. This shift is not demanding that you confront, control, or expose anything in your own strength. It is God stepping in to guard you and bring order where unease lived. Here's the key. The responsibility is no longer yours to carry or manage. It has been fully transferred to God, and He is handling what concerns you with wisdom and care you could not produce on your own. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Isaiah 41:10. And that presence is not distant, it is active right now. Think of Esther, who lived quietly in a palace, unaware of the full danger forming around her people, until the right moment came, and clarity met courage, and she did not force timing or understanding. She moved when God opened the way, and protection followed. That same timing is working for you. Take this in. Relief is settling where tension lived. Reassurance is replacing the need to stay alert all the time, and hope is rising because you are no longer walking ahead of God, trying to anticipate outcomes. Anticipation is building not from fear, but from trust, because what is about to be revealed will not overwhelm you, it will steady you. You will not be rushed, cornered, or left unprotected, and nothing that comes to light will arrive without grace surrounding it. You are safe in this transition, and you are not responsible for holding everyone together while truth finds its place. There is more unfolding, and the next part will unlock and confirm what your spirit has already begun to recognize. giving you clarity without chaos and peace without pressure. So remain present, because this moment is leading directly into what God has already prepared for you. Chosen one, if this is speaking to you, support this message, like the video, subscribe, and write "I receive" in the comments. Now breathe and stay with me, because the next part is for the season you're in right now. Chosen one, your spirit has been tired long before your body admitted it, worn down by trying to hold everything together, while answers stayed distant, finances pressed in, and the future felt hazy no matter how carefully you planned. You have carried emotional weight that was never assigned to you, absorbing tension that did not originate in your heart. And over time, that burden began to whisper doubts about your value, your discernment, and your place in the story. God sees how long you have stayed steady while feeling unsettled, how you questioned yourself when progress stalled, and how you kept choosing patience even as exhaustion became familiar. Stay with me for a moment. This awareness rising in you is not anxiety, and it is not weakness. It is clarity returning after a season of confusion, and heaven is acknowledging it, so you no longer have to carry it alone. If you almost stopped listening because you feel too tired to hope again, this part is especially for you. This is where the pressure finally loosens and clarity begins to return. The chains of scarcity are breaking. The tide is turning. What delayed you is losing authority. What blocked you is being removed. And what felt heavy is beginning to lift with peace instead of force. This shift is not calling you to react or defend yourself. It is God stepping forward to establish order where strain lived. Here's the key. The responsibility is no longer yours to manage outcomes or uncover every detail. It has been fully transferred to God, and He is handling what concerns you with calm, precision, and protection. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3-5. And that trust is being restored gently, not demanded. Think of Gideon, who felt overlooked and uncertain, threshing grain in hiding while believing he was the least, until God named him mighty before anything changed around him, and strength rose not from effort but from divine assurance, and deliverance followed in its time. That same assurance is resting on you now. Let that land. Hope is rising because clarity is forming without chaos. Relief is settling because you are no longer bracing for impact. And anticipation is building because what is coming will not overwhelm you. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 60:1. And that light is not exposing you, it is protecting you. What is about to surface will do so quietly, firmly, and with grace surrounding it. And you will not need to prove anything or defend your worth. You are being positioned, not pressured, and nothing revealed will arrive without provision for peace. There is more unfolding, and the next part will unlock and confirm what your spirit already recognizes as true, steadying you even further and showing you how this transition brings restoration without conflict. So remain present, because this moment is leading directly into what God has already secured for you. Chosen one, you have been running on reserves for a long time, doing your best to stay faithful while outcomes stayed out of reach, carrying worries about provision, about time, about whether the future will ever feel steady again, and quietly wondering if the effort has been worth it. You have absorbed tension that did not begin with you, held space for others while your own needs waited, And over time, that weight began to whisper doubts about your value and your discernment. God sees how exhaustion settled in, not because you were careless, but because you cared deeply and stayed longer than comfort allowed. Stay with me for a moment. What you are sensing now is not fear, and it is not collapse. It is awareness returning after a season of fog, and heaven is naming it so you no longer have to carry uncertainty alone. Your season of struggle is over. The chains of scarcity are breaking. The tide is turning. What felt delayed is being released. What felt blocked is being cleared. And what drained you is losing its authority. This shift is not asking you to confront, explain, or manage what unfolds next. It is God stepping forward to restore order and peace where strain once lived. Here's the key. It is no longer your duty to struggle. It is God's responsibility to provide for you, to protect what concerns you, and to bring clarity without chaos. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Isaiah 43:2. And that presence is active now, steady and close. Think of Lazarus, lying in the tomb beyond hope, where effort could not reach and understanding had ended. And yet when Jesus called his name, life responded without striving or delay, reminding you that what feels final to you is never final to God. Let that land. Hope is rising not because every detail is clear, but because you are no longer bracing for loss. Relief is settling because you are no longer responsible for holding everything together. Anticipation is building because what is coming will not overwhelm you, it will restore you. The Lord will perfect that which concerns me, Psalm 138:8, and that perfection does not require your exhaustion. What is about to surface will do so with grace surrounding it, and nothing revealed will arrive without provision for peace. You are being repositioned gently, not pushed, and nothing ahead will demand that you abandon love or safety to walk in truth. There is more unfolding right now, and the next part will unlock and confirm what your spirit already knows, activating clarity and reassurance at the exact moment you need it. So remain present, because this moment is leading directly into what God has already prepared for you. Chosen one, you have been strong for so long that strength began to feel like a burden, carrying responsibilities that never belonged to you, holding peace together while your own heart learned to ache in silence. You kept moving even when effort brought little reward, worrying about provision, about the future, about whether life would ever stop looping back into the same place, and somewhere along the way, you began to wonder if your value was tied to how much you could endure. God sees that quiet sadness that shows up even in joyful moments, the tired question that asks why you are always the one who stays steady while others unravel. And He is naming it now, so it no longer has to live unnamed inside you. Stay with me for a moment. You were not overlooked, you were entrusted, and that trust came with weight you were never meant to carry forever. This is the turning point. Your season of struggle is over. You were never weak, you were carrying weight meant for more than survival. The chains of scarcity are breaking, the tide is turning. What you held together in the shadows is being released into the light, and the pressure to be the strong one at all times is lifting. This shift is not about proving anything or being right. It is about wholeness returning where survival once lived. Here's the key. It is no longer your duty to struggle, to absorb pain, or to keep everyone else afloat. It is God's responsibility to provide for you, to restore what was strained, and to heal what cracked under the weight of love given without return. The Lord is near to all who call on Him, to all who call on Him in truth. Psalm 145:18. And that nearness is not distant or delayed, it is active now. Think of Jacob and Esau, separated by hurt and misunderstanding for years, carrying silent fear and unresolved loss, until the moment came when reconciliation unfolded not through argument but through humility and grace, and healing met them both at once. That same grace is moving toward you. Let that land. What begins to soften in others will also loosen something long held in you, and the release you have needed will arrive quietly but completely. Hope is rising because you are no longer required to hold pain in order to keep peace. Anticipation is forming because what comes next will not divide. It will reunite, and healing will not strip you of love. It will deepen it. See, I am making all things new. Revelation 21:5. And that renewal is not theoretical, it is personal. You are not the same person who entered this season, and you will not leave it empty-handed. What was disordered is realigning. What felt lost is being restored, and what you thought had died within you is beginning to rise again. There is more ahead, and the next part will unlock and confirm what your spirit is already sensing, showing you how this restoration continues to unfold with peace, clarity, and a freedom you have not known before. Chosen one, you have been carrying a tiredness that settled deeper than your muscles, a weariness born from trying again and again while results stayed just out of reach, from holding responsibilities that quietly became yours even though they never truly belonged to you. You have managed worries about money, about timing, about whether the future will ever feel stable, and while doing so, you learned how to keep moving with a calm face, even when your inner world felt stuck in the same repeating loop. God sees how that pressure slowly turned inward, whispering doubts about your worth and making you wonder if your best was ever going to be enough. And He is calling that pain by name, so it no longer defines you. Stay with me for a moment. You are not exhausted because you failed. You are exhausted because you endured. And endurance without relief always leaves a mark. Now listen carefully. Your season of struggle is over. The chains of scarcity are breaking. The tide is turning. This is not a motivational thought or a distant promise. It is a declaration that the weight you carried through the dark is being lifted now, and what once demanded constant effort will begin to flow with grace. The shift you are entering does not require you to fight harder or prove yourself, because the center of this moment is clear and steady. It is no longer your duty to struggle. It is God's responsibility to provide for you. The pressure to control outcomes, to anticipate every need, to stay one step ahead of loss, is being removed from your hands and placed into His. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91:1. And that rest is not passive, it is protective. Think of Peter on the water, stepping out while fear shouted from the wind and waves, and when his focus shifted, he began to sink. Yet the moment he cried out, a hand reached for him immediately, not after correction or delay, but with rescue first. That same hand is reaching for you now. Let that land. Hope is returning not because everything is explained, but because you are no longer alone in the unknown. Relief is settling as you realize you do not have to hold the future together by sheer will. Anticipation is building because what comes next will not mirror what drained you before. It will arrive differently, gently, with provision already attached. You will notice strength returning without strain, clarity forming without anxiety, and opportunities aligning without force. This season will not demand the same sacrifices that nearly broke you, because God has changed the terms. You are being repositioned, not rushed. And what opens next will confirm that this shift is real. Remain present, because the next part will activate and clarify what your spirit is already sensing, and it will reveal how this new season begins to take shape in ways you did not expect but deeply need. Chosen one, before anything else, let the pressure dissolve, because you are not being asked to fix yourself, prove your worth, or carry one more responsibility to earn what God is already doing. You don't need to become stronger or more disciplined for alignment to happen. You are simply invited to pause. In this season, alignment begins with permission. Allow yourself, even briefly, to start the day without rehearsing what might go wrong, letting your breath soften and your shoulders lower as a quiet agreement that you are not the source of what is unfolding. You are invited to notice small moments where tension shows up in your body and gently release it, not by forcing calm, but by acknowledging that God is already holding what you feel responsible for. You don't need to push through fatigue anymore. Rest here is not giving up, it is cooperation. In ordinary moments, while washing your hands, walking between rooms, or sitting in silence, allow a subtle inward release, a wordless letting go of outcomes you cannot control, trusting that what belongs to you will not miss you. You don't need to track progress or search for confirmation. Alignment works quietly, and God does His deepest work when you stop checking. When worries about money or the future arise, you are invited to gently place those thoughts outside yourself, not solving them, not resisting them, simply allowing them to rest where they belong, in God's care. Receiving in this season looks small and unforced. It may show up as a moment of ease you didn't plan, a sense of calm that arrives without explanation, or clarity returning without effort. Rest is not inactivity. It is the posture that makes space for divine movement, and nothing is delayed because you chose stillness. You are allowed to enjoy moments without guilt, to sleep without strategizing, to feel joy without wondering what you should be doing next, because joy does not interrupt God's work, it aligns you with it. Trust here does not require understanding, and release does not require certainty, only willingness. As you move more gently, speak more kindly to yourself, and stop carrying tomorrow in your chest. You are quietly saying yes to what God is already arranging. You don't need to grasp, chase, or prepare in advance, because what is meant for you will arrive without pressure, without force, and without you needing to control the outcome, at exactly the right time, held securely in God's care. Chosen one, as this message settles, allow yourself to notice what has shifted inside you, because nothing you felt during this time was random or misplaced. The weariness that surfaced, the quiet release that followed, the calm that slowly took its place, all of it carries meaning and belongs to this moment. You are not late, you are not off course, and you are not forgotten. The pace you are moving at is the pace this season requires. What unfolded here was not something you forced or imagined. It was alignment returning and truth finding its way back to you gently. You do not need to search for the next step or hold yourself together through effort, because what has begun will continue without strain. The waiting you endured, the questions you carried, and the strength you summoned in silence were never wasted. They led you here with intention. You are held, you are seen, and you are not walking this path alone. There is nothing you need to rush, and nothing you need to fix before resting. Stay here in this quieter space, let the noise fade, and if you feel ready, remain present as we move softly into the stillness of the prayer that follows. As we arrive here together, allow the pace to soften and this moment to hold you gently, without expectation or effort. God, we come carrying tired bodies and quiet hearts, bringing the exhaustion that built from trying for so long without seeing change, the worry about provision and tomorrow, the fear of being stuck, and the weight of responsibilities that lingered far beyond our strength. We place all of this before you now, not as demands to be fixed, but as burdens to be set down, trusting that you already see what words cannot explain. You know the nights of restless thought, the mornings of heaviness, the silent questions about worth and direction, and we rest them here without urgency. Your word says, "The Lord is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, and rich in love." Psalm 145:8. And we receive that compassion now as a covering. Where there has been striving, release peace. Where there has been anxiety, establish safety. Where there has been lack, bring your quiet provision. And where there has been confusion, settle gentle clarity. We acknowledge that even when we could not see movement, you were working in unseen ways, guarding paths, closing what would have harmed us, and preparing what we could not yet receive. In this moment, we declare that your presence is enough, that we do not need to manage outcomes or understand every step ahead. In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4:8. And we let that peace move through our bodies now. We affirm that you are guiding without force, providing without delay, and restoring without pressure. Like Elijah, who lay exhausted under the broom tree believing he had reached his end, and was met not with correction but with rest, nourishment, and a gentle whisper, we receive that same care here, knowing you tend to us before asking us to rise. We release the need to be strong, the habit of bracing for disappointment, and the fear that rest might cause us to fall behind. We trust you with our future without timelines, with our needs without anxiety, and with our identity without comparison. Thank you for carrying what we could not, for holding what felt fragile, and for continuing your work even as we rest. As this prayer settles, we remain open and at ease, trusting that what is meant for us will arrive in its time without being forced. Thank you for sharing this moment, for allowing yourself to be held here, and as you move forward, may the calm and reassurance you felt stay with you gently until we meet again. If there is something resting in your heart right now, a hope you've been holding quietly, a worry that returns when things grow silent, a pain you've never fully named, or a question that still feels unanswered, you are invited to share it in the comments, in whatever words feel safest to you. There is no need to explain everything or make it sound a certain way, because even a few honest lines can become an offering. When you write it down, it is more than a comment, It is an act of release, a way of placing what you carry into God's care rather than holding it alone. Nothing written here is overlooked, nothing spoken is wasted, and nothing shared is judged. God sees what is expressed and what remains between the lines. He listens with patience, and He meets you in His timing, not rushed and not late. You are not alone in this, and this moment is being held gently in the presence and grace of God. If this spoke to your heart, comment, "I receive and allow heaven to move with you from this moment forward." Nothing offered here in sincerity is unseen.